てよ。
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこの
Hilichurls. They're everywhere. One of the most prolific enemies in the game, and one of the first enemies the traveler encounters. You can't go anywhere without encountering one, and according to the game's lore, they've been around for 1,000 years. And yet, they have no history or civilization. So what are Hilichurls? Where do they come from? Why do they hate me? Well, the truth is, we don't know!
That's it? That's the last episode? That was just a bunch of
E-roll of Hilichurls.
Just kidding. There's tons of different Hilichurl. We have the most basic Hilichurl, Hilichurls, Hilichurls, and Hilichurls. Hilichurls are the muscle responsible for protecting the basic Hilichurls, and usually are seen one or two in a big group. Hilichurls are also known as Lord Hilichurls and are basically what we can surmise as advanced Hilichurls. Hilichurls are the mage variant Hilichurls that can cast magic and elements freely. The other Hilichurls take advantage of elements through weapons, but the Hilichurls and Hilichurls are actually the only ones that channel elements on their own. How suspicious. As we've seen in-game, Hilichurls engage in agriculture, construct camps, have a language, a social hierarchy, and can even communicate with members of the Abyss Order, such as the Abyss Mages who are often found in their camps. So with all of these things being said, where did the Hilichurls come from? Referring back to the in-game archive on Hilichurl once more, it says this, that they are very similar to humanity, but seem to have lost both their intellect and spirituality. They've been recorded to have been on the continent for over 1,000 years, and yet have neither history nor civilization. But ever since the pitch black calamity from 500 years ago, they have begun to spread in large numbers across the land. So Hilichurls seem to have lost both their intellect and spirituality. So did they once have intellect and spirituality? Were they once human? They have a social hierarchy, a language, and engage in agriculture and building and camps. So you could argue that they already are quite intelligent already. But what is this pitch black calamity that the game is referring to? Well, this is also another term for the cataclysm, which was a major event when Celestia and the 7 Archons caused the destruction of the underground city Khaenri'ah. But what was Khaenri'ah? Khaenri'ah was a city that had no god. There was no Archon governing Khaenri'ah, and it had become so advanced that one alchemist decided that he was going to use his alchemy to create creatures, which is what led the cause of Celestia to basically destroy Khaenri'ah for trying to play God and essentially consider them obsolete by creating life on their own. So now that we know what the pitch black calamity is and the fall of Khaenri'ah is, does that make the survivors of the fall of Khaenri'ah Hilichurls? Well, it can't exactly be the case because Hilichurls, according to the in-game archive, have been recorded to have been on the continent for over 1,000 years. However, the fall of Khaenri'ah occurred 500 years ago, and Khaenri'ah actually was not on the continent of Teyvat and was an underground city somewhere else, which has not exactly been disclosed yet. So, if Hilichurls have been recorded to be on the continent of Teyvat for 1,000 years, then they can't exactly be the result of the fall of Khaenri'ah. So we know that the Hilichurl aren't the descendants of the fall of Khaenri'ah, but who are the descendants of the fall of Khaenri'ah is the Abyss Order, and we find this out from Dawnsleif and in the story quest. And because of how often you see the Abyss Mages, hanging out with the Hilichurls, and from Glory's own words in the story quest, she says that most of the Hilichurls appeared in Teyvat out of nowhere several hundred years ago, and same for the Abyss Order. So we can surmise that the Abyss Order is basically taking advantage of the Hilichurls, and they are spreading the Abyss Order culture to them, and they are responsible for bringing the Hilichurls into the continent of Teyvat after the fall of Khaenri'ah. So there you go. That's what all the evidence points to, that the Abyss Order is responsible for bringing the Hilichurls into the continent of Teyvat, and are basically utilizing them to kind of spread their dominion over the continent of Teyvat, At least that's my theory anyways, so if you guys like this video or you want to see more in this kind of style, leave a like, leave a comment on what you liked, what you didn't like, and what your theories are on this subject matter. And thank you for watching.